So we know that in the New Testament, we have two different people talking about childish or childlike natures. One in a positive sense, one in a negative sense. And I've thought about this for a while, and I've also kind of seen a little bit of confusion in regards to this. So I wanted to clear it up a little bit. So obviously we see Jesus talking about that we must be like a child in order to enter the kingdom. And then on the opposite end, we have Paul speaking how we must leave our childish behaviors and actions and grow up. Are they talking about the same thing? Not really. So, with Jesus talking about we must be childlike in order to enter the kingdom, and we see that whenever children were around him, he encouraged and invited them in because they have a faith, even if they don't even realize it. They have a faith, or childlike faith, that is required in order to even be able to perceive the kingdom. Because just like Jesus said, the kingdom is not physical. It's a spiritual kingdom. And if we are looking for a physical thing, we're never going to find it. And that's why Jesus said that his kingdom is not of this world. So what's the major dichotomy with this thing? Paul speaking that we must leave our childish natures and grow up. He was more referring to. He was using the reference of childish or childlike natures in a way of growing up to be more mature. And again, there's a difference. Well, obviously, if we are going about in our life, and because something doesn't go our way in a grocery store or whatever, we're not to throw a fit. We're to mature. He wants us to mature to be like how adults are supposed to be, physical adults and mentally adults are supposed to be whenever we don't get our way, whenever things don't go according to plan, and take more responsibility for things like that. That's what he's talking about. Not the childlike faith that Jesus was referencing and talking about. Because as we learn and grow in faith and in spirituality, as after coming to Christ, we learn to be able to look for different things. We're not looking for a physical kingdom. We learn that in our prayer and devotion to the Father, we let him know. He already knows, but it's that communication that he wants us to build with him, that growing faith, but also trust on both sides as we're growing with him on anything and everything in our walk with him. If we come to know like, oh crap, I need this money, or man, my car broke down, I need this thing repaired type thing. Yeah, you could go back and forth about really asking, but it's growing the communication, keeping the communication with him rather than just staying inside of yourself 24/7, which I know I'm good like that. It's growing in that trust. And so whenever we come across something that like, I need this particular thing, or Father, this is what I'm dealing with here, and like it's to open that communication. And that's why whenever Jesus was talking about we must become like children are dependent on their parents for everything. as I'm working on a project, some of the posts I've made on Facebook, I've mentioned that once we're born, we are completely and totally dependent on our parents because we know nothing more than other than just instinctual breathing and crying and laughing. Those are the two tools that we have to show need or to show what we're feeling. And so whenever we're coming to Christ, whenever we came to Christ and we are learning, and we are learning how to live in this kingdom. Not many times we don't even know what it really looks like for many years. We don't even know what to perceive, what to expect. It's just this thing that happens whenever the children came to Christ, like in that story, and He invited them in. We know that they were, like I said, they were totally dependent on the parents. They always, and you got to realize this, children always tell their parents what they need. Mom, I'm hungry. Can I get, or can I get something to drink? I need this money for this. It's the same thing as whenever we, with the Father. Like, we call it prayer. It's just talking to Him. It's like, I need this, or I know you're aware of this. This is what I'm dealing with. That kind of thing. And whenever we tell Him that we need this, we start just we do it subconsciously, and many times, especially if we're actively trying to learn something, we can also even be looking to learn to see it. But if we tell the Father, hey, I need this, and we start looking for the Lord to deliver. If you're walking down the road and like, I'm thirsty, He could literally just have someone drop by and say, hey, you need a water, especially if you're out hiking. It's those kind of things that we learn to look for. And it's having that childlike faith in order to perceive what the kingdom looks like. And that's why Jesus said we must be like a child in order to enter the kingdom. Because if we're not even, if we don't have childlike faith, we're just going to see every single action, every single thing that happens as just happenstance. Oh, okay, cool. Someone just brought me this water for no reason. Whatever. Thank you. Okay, whatever. And it's going to happen like that every single aspect. If we don't have childlike faith or this thing of knowing how the Father works, we're going to take every single happenstance, every single thing that happens to us in this life, and just think nothing of it. Rather than just knowing that He is our provider, and we open communication with Him, and ask Him, and ask Him things, and go to things, and say, am I wrong with this? Am I wrong on this thinking? What do I need to change with this thinking? Where do I need to change? That kind of thing. And that's how the kingdom works. That's having childlike faith, or one of the many aspects of having childlike faith, versus the whole thing with Paul and leaving our childish natures and growing up and becoming more mature, more responsible. Because as we grow, just like in the natural world, we pass these tests, how subtle or obvious they are, and we are given more responsibility, even if it doesn't seem like responsibility. It's the same thing with the Father. As we mature spiritually and naturally, we are given more responsibility, more different things that require us to be more mature. A car, driver's license, a better paying job, a pet, not driving stupidly, not being careless with people, not being a jerk, that kind of thing. Anything and everything that has to do with life has to do with growing up, being more mature, and how we act, but also, like Jesus said, knowing, being childlike in our faith and in our walk. But at the same time, Paul also does speak about being wise as serpents but harmless as doves. So again, there is the contrast of having childlike faith but also being very wise and careful, but also having the intention to hurt no one. And of course, we're human. We're going to make those mistakes. We are going to hurt people, but it's about the intention. Are we going about trying to shoot people, trying to hurt people, stab people, doing that kind of thing? Or are we opening up a box, just to open up a box for someone, give it to them and put the knife back? We're not, our intention is to help. And as we continue to grow in that maturity and that responsibility, just again, like I said just a few minutes ago, as we learn to go about with things in our physical, in our natural life, we are given more power, more responsibility. Same thing with in our spiritual life. As the Father sees that we are able to pass these tests, forgive this person, look past minor indiscretions or even major indiscretions as things go along, and continue to be like His Son, our brother Jesus. But He's also the Creator too, so you got to think about that. That's a whole different thing right there. But as we continue to be more like Jesus and we're able to pass those tests, which is an everyday thing, and that's part of the kingdom. It's part of life on earth. And I'll continue building into these different videos here so y'all can continue to understand. But being more mature but having childlike faith is that dichotomy, which is very interesting, and it can get kind of confusing if you don't know what you're looking for, but that's what it looks like. Be more mature so we can pass these different things, so that the Father says, okay, so you want this $1 million business. You need to be able to manage your finances, being able to keep your cool when people are being stupid around you, all the while doing this, and this. And that's what we need to do. Or in different cases, different scenarios, of course, but you get the gist. That's kind of what it looks like. But at the same time, knowing how to perceive these things because you have that childlike faith and you're able to perceive and discern certain things, and you're not as sophisticated in certain things as others are. And that's why when we think of children, children are able to see things in the spirit realm. They're able to see demons, angels, that kind of thing whenever they're kids. Most of us lose that as we get older, as we become more sophisticated. But He wants us to become more childlike in that case. So I know it can be a little confusing. But I hope I kind of explain things a little bit more. Go ahead and comment and like and subscribe. Share this thing out. If y'all have any questions, let me know. But I hope I cleared out some things a little bit for y'all.